Hey everybody, welcome to Cardboard Commander. My name is Jerry, and I'll be your host today. And we're going to set up Vive l'Empereur to play a Herman Luttmann game. It's one of my favorite solo games, and after watching the War Room this past Saturday, where they were discussing solo games, I thought I'd break this out and start a playthrough. I've done a couple on my channel, so I'm going to keep trying to get better at them. But today we're going to set up Vive l'Empereur, so I hope you stick around to watch. We're going to go over some of the basic rules, just so you kind of know what's going on before we get started. So I'm going to move this over here. So there are a couple things that you're going to see that aren't included in the game. One of those are the red markers that you see right there. Those are victory point conditions. That's where you go to get victory points. There's actually a star on the hexes, but I like to make sure I can see them, and it was a little easier to point them out in the game. There's also down here some purple tokens. So those are startup hexes where the French can start up and they can move around certain hexes, and I'll show that to you later. But those do not come with the game. They're just something I added so I can kind of keep track of things. We're going to go over a few things just so we can get started here. So there's not a lot of terrain in the board. Everything is clear unless it's a ridge, woods, buildings, or river hex. So I'll give you a quick explanation. Ridge hexes are these hexes right. You'll see them up here. Anything with that little ridge thing right there, those are ridge hexes. Then we have woods, self-explanatory, stuff with all the trees in them. Then we have buildings. So you'll be able to see right here, there's buildings down there. Then walled buildings. So they're going to be the red outline buildings. And they are down here. One of them's down here. So you can kind of see the red walled. And we'll explain those more a little bit too. And then we've got river hexes, which, again, pretty self-explanatory. The blue river hexes there. And then we have road, which is right there. So there are two different elevations in the board. So you're either at a lower level or you're elevated if you're up on one of the ridges. So now we'll go through and talk about each game piece. So if we look at everything, the French are light blue pieces. So we'll take one of those and we'll just put this up here just to explain that. So they're the light blue pieces. The Anglo-Allied are the light red. So you can see that right up there. And then we also have Prussians who will come in the game later, and they are kind of a white gray. They all have designators, which is really kind of cool, and I'm really glad Herman did this, is if you notice the colors, so it's real easy to keep the cores and everything together, and it's just a cool way he did that, and it's also really easy to keep up with the counters. If you look at we'll look at the counters real quick. Each counters have 3 numbers on them. So the red number is the strength point factor. I wanted to get the words right. Attack factor. If there's a little asterisk over the attack factor or the strength points, then that's a small unit, and it could be stacked with any other unit of any size. Then you have the black number in the middle. That's the artillery factor. So there could be an H or a regular number on there. If it says H, I'll kind of show you an example right there. If it's got an H on it, it's heavy. They have a range of 4. All others have a range of 3. And then the last rating is an Elan rating. So basically, if you're elite, it's a 6. Veteran, you're a 5. Regular, it's a 4. Green, a 3. And then goes down below that. One of the things is you cannot go below, or you cannot go above 6. So if you're above 6 and it goes down, a unit's ELR is never modified higher than 6 or lower than a 1, just to put things in perspective. So that's the general units. That's all we're going to... Oh, I am going to discuss how... So when they take damage, So say this unit up here takes damage, and we'll go through the combat phase when we get closer to that. There's 6 steps before you actually lose a unit in this game. So if they take on any fire, then they would automatically become shaken. So that's one step. The second step, or the second loss, they would go to disrupted. The third loss, they would get flipped to their disrupted side, and that marker would come off. That's the third step. The fourth step would be a shaken marker. The fifth step would go to disrupted. And then any other further loss, they are eliminated. So just wanted to kind of go over that with you a little bit, just so you're kind of familiar with that as well. We'll flip through. There's a sequence of play. So the advanced game turn marker phase, draw activation marker phase, and the activation phase. I'll show you all that over here. The game track is over here, and I've already got that set up, and we'll explain that when we get going on the first turn. All my activation chips are actually in my wonderful New Mexico Lobo Cup, and that's where we'll be drawing the activation chips out of, as well as the command markers and those sorts of things. So we're not going to go through the activation phase. We'll do that while we're getting gameplay. We're just kind of doing this for setup. Now we're going to go to the setup phase. So setup, it's actually told to you in the rules. It tells you which hexes to put the units into. You'll also notice that the reason I put those down there is they will have. It can set up within 1 hexes or 3 hexes depending on what it states in the rules. So that's how you're going to kind of set up there. I will go back and double check my setup just to make sure I'm in good standing here before we get the game started. So with that being said, the French, again, are in blue down below. The Anglo-Allied armies are pink. And then we have the Prussians who are waiting to come in. They're kind of gray. So that's what the map looks like to start off, folks. I'm going to go ahead and verify, and then we'll get started with the first turn and how everything else goes with that. Okay, everybody. Welcome back. We're ready to get started. This is take number 2 because I forgot to hit the record button prior. So a newbie mistake, but it is what it is. The board's all set up. We're all ready to go. But the first thing we need to do is go through the rainy start. So what you do is the turn marker's over here. And on the first turn, you roll 1d6. If it's a 5 or a 6, the game starts. But if it's anything less than that, you move the game marker down 1, you add 1 to the next die roll, and you go until the game starts. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll 1 die. We actually rolled a 6. So the game is going to start now. I was trying to find a place to put this thing so you could see it. So maybe I'll put this here and we'll try that. But maybe you can see that. Yeah, a little better maybe. Not really though. And so I don't know how to fix that problem. So I think we'll just leave it over the side. You're just going to have to take my word for it. So. All right, so the game gets started. So now we go to the draw activation marker phase. So we shake these up and we draw a marker and we'll go from there. So the first one we draw is an Anglo-Allied core activation, and it is the Prince of Orange. So what do you know? They're the orange guys up here, the first core. So I'm going to put this up here for now. So what we do is when we roll on the chart for them, on the Anglo-Allied chart that is here. So we roll 2 dice. The gray dice will be the first number. So we rolled a 26. And on the chart, a 26, 25 through 42 is advanced. Units will move closer to the French and attempt to engage them. Anglo-Allied infantry units move adjacent to the nearest battle-worn French unit only, that is 2 hexes away. If starting adjacent to a battle-worn French unit, they will conduct a close combat attack. If there are no such eligible French units, the Anglo-Allied infantry unit conducts a bombardment combat at the nearest French unit instead of moving. So, we're not going to have anybody close enough, so they're going to bombard. So we're going to start off with the bombardment factor, remember, is the black factor in the middle. So we'll start off with Cook over here. They have a range of 3. They're both on a ridge. So they have, they can target Jerome, so they're going to go ahead and do that. Always rotate people to the side when I'm activating them, just so I know that they've been activated. So now, Jerome is in the clear, so it is going to take a 4 or above to do any damage, and they get to roll 3 dice. So they're going to roll 3 dice, and they get a 5, 3, and a 2. So a 4 would be a partial hit, a 5 is a success, so they have 1 success. Remember, during bombardment, the best you can do is 1. So Jerome here is going to be shaken. We're going to put that marker on there, and they are done. Then we're going to come over here to, again, I'm going to butcher the names. They can't see anybody because they're on the hill here, on the ridge. So I'm just going to activate them. Same way with these gentlemen here. I'm going to put the activation marker in the box. Nobody within 3 hexes of these gentlemen. And then we've got here, they can't see anybody, so that's it. So Prince of Orange has been activated. And we go to the next. Also Chase up here, but he can't go anywhere, so we'll just do that too. So we draw another chit. Another Anglo-Allied Corps activation. This time it's Wellington. And Wellington is the red units here. You see them all right there. So we will roll to see what they do. Blue dice will be first. So we rolled a 46. And a 46 is rally around the colors. Units will regroup and harass French forces. Each unit with a shaken or disrupted marker will rally. There are none. Units that do not have a marker and are within range and LOS of a French unit will conduct bombardment combat, targeting the French unit that is closest to any VP hex. If more than 1 unit qualifies, it targets the nearest units. Other units do nothing. So, closest to victory. So we've got this artillery will fire here. Then a range of 3. They get 3 dice. They're both in the clear. They're both on a ridge, so they're both in the clear. So they need 4 or above. So you get 3 dice. We get a 4, 1, and a 2, so they get a partial, so it does nothing. Crew's back here. He doesn't have any bombardment, so he can't do anything. Now we look at here. I don't think anybody's within 3, so they can't do anything. We come over here. Closest to a victory point would be these guys. So now we do have... So these 2 are within range here. They could fire here. So that's 1, and that's 2. So they get to fire 3 die. They're on the same level, so they need a 4, 5, or 6. So they'll fire 3 die. They get 2 6s and a 4. So again, 2 successes and a partial. The best you can do is 1 for a bombardment. So they get shaken. And then this unit here, 1, 2, 3, they're out of range. They can't see anybody. Sorry. And that should be it for the activation of Wellington. So that's going to go in the chit box over here. And we'll draw another chit. So we're going to activate another Anglo Corps activation, Wellington Command activation. So we'll let you know what that means. So we come over here to the command chart. And the Wellington command chart is right here, located on the bottom. Don't know if you can see that. When the Wellington marker is drawn, follow these steps. Rally one Anglo-Allied unit, not a detachment, that has the most hits. So nobody has a hit. Roll 2 dice and look at the chart below and see what it says. So the gray dice will be the big number this time. So we're at a 22. Reverse slope deployment. Place the reverse slope reminder marker in the Allied condition. So we find the reverse slope marker. Put that Allied condition marker. And all Anglo-Allied infantry and cavalry units located on a ridge terrain have an automatic target hit number of 5 against bombardment attacks. So cavalry units actually have a 4 because of the -1 target number modifier. Artillery units do not receive a modifier. So I'm going to put that down here. I'm going to also put this little token next to it, so it kind of reminds me, so when we do attack like that, it'll be out there in the middle of the board. Now we draw another chit. Another Anglo Corps activation, and this is Uxbridge, and they are the green units, which are right here. So we're going to roll 2 die. Blue die will be the big one this time. 64. So we come over here. A bad day for Napoleon. Remove one of the Napoleon markers from play. Start with a held marker. If none, then a discarded marker. If none, then remove one from the cup. So I will take out all the things, remove a Napoleon marker, which is right there, and put the rest of these back in here and shake these up. Place one remove marker back into the discard pile, and that's it for that. So we draw another one. All right, the French are being activated. So the route, the IG, which is going to be located down here. They're all the pink. So we will be moving these. The artillery, let's go back to the movement chart. Infantry and artillery can go 2. So they're going to go 1, 2. And again, I turn these to the side when I activate them and move them. So that way I know they've been activated. They're going to go 1, 2. Now they can stack together because they have an asterisk next to them, meaning they're a small unit. These guys are going to go 1, 2 and do the same thing down here. This unit here, these 2 units are actually going to go backwards because we want to make sure we keep an eye on 10-15 because it is victory points for us, so we want to make sure we get back into here eventually. So they have all been activated, and we go to the next one. The next one is Ryle. That's the 2 Corps, which is the baby blue over here. So I think what we'll do at the beginning is the cavalry is going to go 1, 2. The infantry is going to go 1, 2. Pelleter is going to go ahead and fire. So they're in the city. They're going to need 6s. So they're going to fire 3. They got 1 6, so only a partial, so nothing there. Jerome is shaken, but he can still move. So he is going to move here. And Bicheler, however you're going to say that, they're going to come down here and go there. And that will be it for the second corps. We draw another one. Kellerman. So they are, where are they? They're the 3 corps. They're down here. 2 of the heavy cavalry. Heavy cavalry can move 3 hexes, or can go 3. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3. And they're going to go 1, 2, 3 and go right there. That's it for Kellerman. Now we're going to activate Hill, Anglos. They're the 2nd corps. So they are going to be over here. They are the purple over here. So we're going to roll 2 dice. Gray will be the big number. A 25. And that is advance. Units will move closer to the French and attempt to engage. Anglo-Allied infantry units move adjacent to the nearest battle-worn French unit only. That is 2 hexes away. So there is nobody. If starting adjacent to a battle-worn French unit, they will conduct a close combat attack. They aren't. If there are no such eligible French units, the Anglo-Allied infantry unit conducts a bombardment combat at the nearest French unit instead of moving. So, one, two, three, 1, 2, 3. So Mitchell will fire. Well, so Halkett up here, he can't fire. Mitchell's got 2. He's within range. They're in the open. So he's going to fire. We could actually combine. Yeah, they're going to combine here. So that's going to be 5 die. Actually, they're not. They're going to go 2 here. And I'll show you why here in a minute. So we need 4s. We don't get it. 3 and a 1. Now they will fire, but they're also going to have an advantage. So +1 die if fire on a ridge and target flat. So that's there. So they get 4 die. So we're going to 4 die, a 5 and a 6. So 2 hits. So of course the most you can do is 1 step loss. So they are going to be shaken. And they have all been activated, and they are done. So now we'll go to the next chit, and we're looking at French Corps activation. Labau for the 5th Corps or 6th Corps. They're all right here in the baby blue. So they're going to be on the move. So infantry and artillery can move 2. They're going to go down here. That was a slope. What was that? Okay, so no, they were fine there. They're going to go 2. They're going 2. They're going 2. They're actually going to have to stop and go 1 because of going uphill. And they are all been activated. I'm going to turn them sideways so I know they've been activated. And we draw another chit. French core activation. So D'Erlon. The first core, which is all right here. So we are going to, first of all, we're going to, these two are going to combine for a bombardment. So 3, 4, 5. It's downhill, so 6. They get 6 dice, but they have to have 6s to hit because they're in the city. So the first 3, 1, 6. The next 3, none, no more. So a partial hit, so no, nothing happens there. Now we will move. So they're going to go down 1. They're going to go 1, 2. They're going to go 1, 2. They're going to go 1. Can't go any further because they'll be on top of somebody, and that's it for them. So they are activated. The next chit, we get Napoleon. So with Napoleon, we get to hold it or we get to execute any of the 5 things that are on the back here, which are located right there. So basically, to use Napoleon marker, pick one below listed action. When eligible, resolve it. So pas de charge, we get to play during a French activation. Basically, you get to move 1 hex for free, then do a unit move. Or you can do the Son of Archlets, which is to rally troops. You can do Vive l'Empereur, which will increase the ER by 2. So Beautiful Daughter's Grand Battery, designated hex containing 1 or 2 heavy artillery units, conduct a bombardment with each such unit in that designated hex. The 2 selected units may combine fire. And then the Bearskins play at the start of Dural, the Imperial Guard, which have already been played. All enemy units targeted by the Old Guard unit close attack must first take an ELN test. So I'm going to hold this for a minute because we do have a few more chits, so I'm going to hold that. I'm going to put that right here just so we know we're holding it. Now we're going to go to another chit, French activation, and we're going to activate Mulhold. And so they are located over here. Heavy cavalry. So again, heavy cavalry can move 3 hexes. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we get to go again. So I need to make sure I use the Napoleon. So let me make sure I am understanding holding the Napoleon. I want to make sure we're not doing anything crazy there. If either the Napoleon activation marker is drawn, hold the marker, consult the lippy, choose one of the 5 actions. If unused by the end of the marker is discarded after you decide to use it. Okay, so we're going to put that away, and we're going to draw another chit. So Anglo-Allied Corps. So we're going to activate the detachments. And here's what that means. So there's going to be some people in trouble here for the French. So the detachments part is located right there on your chart. So we're going to start over here with Hougoumont. The single largest SP French unit adjacent to Hogelmart takes an Elan test. If passed, there is no effect. If failed, the unit takes a step loss. So the highest unit would be Jerome. He's got an ELN of 4, but he's also down 1, so it's a 3. So he needs to roll. He could be in trouble. He rolls a 1, and he is actually fine. So he passes. Then we come over to La Hasaint, and the same thing. The highest one within, so 1, 2, 1, 2. So it is going to be, oh, they're not adjacent. So that ain't going to happen. If no French unit is adjacent, the detachment can rally. They don't need to rally, so they're done. And then we come over here to Papilla. If no French unit is adjacent to the hex, the detachment unit will rally. Otherwise, nothing happens, so they just sit there. They don't get to do anything. So we draw another one. And it is Blucher. So what we do for that is we actually come over to the Blucher chart. And that is located right there. And basically what it says is when the Blucher market is drawn, for each Prussian core activation marker still in the game track, roll a die. If it's a 1 or 2, it stays. A 3 or a 6, it marches and moves on. So Bülow, he stays. Perch, he stays. And Zeeland, he stays. So nobody wanted to go forward and march there, so they're good there. And that is the end of the cup, so I didn't get to use Napoleon. So that is the end of the markers. So now we come to the end phase. Draw, activate. If no markers remain in the container, the player removes all markers from the board. So they come off. And all the action markers are placed back into the cup. We'll shake them up again. Then proceed to the next game turn. So we go to game turn number 2. And folks, that's the end of the first game turn. So sorry it was so slow. I don't think I messed up anything, but if you caught something, please let me know. We want to learn together. Really cool start to the game. And folks, if you haven't subscribed to Cardboard Commander, just give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to start off, so we really do appreciate everything. All right, everybody, take care. Be safe. Be kind.